So I think native advertising, to employ it into one's content marketing campaigns is a really nice opportunity because it allows a different kind of access to users. It is more like a push communication tool, so it's not like search. I'm already, stating something that I'm looking for, so I'm not like in a whole pull mode. It's not social media advertising, so it's not necessarily, the targeting is not based on, my personal characteristics, but it has to do a lot with the content where you see the native advertising ad. So it relates strongly to the content. I'm obviously already in the mood to, be suggested what content I could consume or, entertain myself with, or like either kill time with, or spend time on, or maybe get inspired or even save time with. So I'm in the right mode, and I'm very approachable in that moment. So it's a very nice mindset that advertiser can tap into. And if it's done the right way with the right kind of content and the nice kind of connection from where I am at the moment and where the content of the advertiser is, I think that's a great opportunity. So the opportunity is there. It's an addition to what I already have in my digital marketing tool set. So it's something well worth trying, especially as we see that some long established digital advertising mechanisms like display banner ads, they're not working as well as much anymore. So this is could be like a great way to compensate those kind of old opportunities that are kind of closing and they're being fought against by the users and ad blockers, and to offer something that fits the mindset of the digital user these days a lot better. When I think about how to make best first attempts to do native advertising, I would always suggest something really simple, right? So the advertiser should think of content that's helpful, that has to do with their products, put it either on their own owned properties, so their own website or whatever they have. That's kind of a really good use case, usually to be able to do cross-channel communication, or if that's preferable, host the content at the publisher's website for whatever reasons, and then try different distribution networks that can drive traffic to the content that I have, and then measure what works how, what kind of ads in the different networks work, how are the user KPIs on the content that I deliver, Are the people from each network reading content as much as they should, and what are they doing after they read the content? How can what can I see in their behavior? What's happening afterwards? So I'd really try to suggest to keep things simple in the beginning to have some good first experiences with native advertising. A mistake in native advertising would be to try to make anyone who wants to try the whole thing, try to explain them the whole playing field that exists in the industry right now at once, because it's overwhelming. So even though it's kind of not telling the whole truth, explain a facet of the truth and not confuse people, but because you create a simple starting setup but clearly also state, well, that's not the whole story, but this is something that makes sense to start with. Sometimes clients want to understand everything, and that is just like so confusing and time consuming. It's not actually efficient, and that could drive something that is actually promising, that would actually make sense from a marketing communication perspective. It could make it inefficient, which will obviously not be a success, and people will not try further and do some trial and error and do some more native advertising. So that's kind of So I think native advertising is a great opportunity. That is, I think people are still holding back from native advertising because sometimes it's confusing to them. The opportunities are very there's a lot of them, so it's sometimes confusing. Also, the vocabulary being used is still very individual to the person or company talking about it. So I think we need a lot of clarity about what's actually what, differentiate who's offering what do we want to call it, and how can it be used in the context, and how does a whole campaign look, and how to integrate these things with one another. And I think once that is overcome, I think it can be a super legitimate additional marketing channel and marketing communication tool, and I think it could be fit very well into the portfolio of the already learned marketing channels like search advertising, like social media advertising. So native can be like another part like that, and I think the growth and significance of the whole channel that will be depending on how able the native advertising industry will be to kind of set standards, make things understandable for people, and kind of make it more accessible to people who can't spend a whole day researching, but making things simple so they're approachable, and a lot of people will try. We will have to showcase people how to use native advertising best, and then I think there's a good growth for the industry ahead of us.